Hi folks, welcome to another episode of the Southern Drink Review. I'm Derek.
And I'm Dan.
And today we are doing a taste test of Old Charter No. 8 bourbon. Now this isn't like our usual ranking test, although you'll notice that we have 6 plastic containers back there with 3 different whiskeys in them for us to test and to see how they compare. And the reason isn't to say which one's the best, although that'll be a nice side effect,
right,
but just to see, is Old Charter No. 8 a economy, will be nice to say economy bourbon, as good as your regular day-to-day drinking bourbon? Can it supplant your normal go-to bourbon in time of need? So Dan, if you would grab the Old Charter bottle.
Sure.
So this is, hold this up a little more.
There we go.
There
so
we go.
We have a handle of Old Charter here.
$175. Now Dan, how much did this handle of Old Charter cost you?
This handle of Old Charter cost me $19.99, which was the same thing as a bottle of Four Roses on sale.
And that's yellow label too. That's
Yeah.
not single barrel or anything else.
Right.
I'm sure you all are familiar with the price of Four Roses and see that, you know, this is your normal go-to bourbon. Now, as a control, now we didn't go with a bourbon. We went with the generic, not a generic whiskey. We went with a whiskey. And so Dan, if you would grab it, and it's just a little sampler bottle, but a bottle of your good old Jack Daniel's No. 7.
Right. So not even another bourbon.
Yeah, not even another bourbon. Tennessee Sour Mash Whiskey, which is the same as bourbon in almost every respect, except for a couple of minor things. But we won't go into that. We'll go into that we'll do a Jack Daniel's review at some point in the future. All right, so let's go ahead, and Dan, why don't you grab the first 2 and bring them over here and see if this is, and we'll just start going in, we'll taste them and rank them.
Now, I will say, though, from what we've heard, right? So this,
this
Old
was,
Charter.
This was not chosen at random.
Right. So this should be a good substitute for just for your generic bourbon to be used with
your day-to-day bourbon.
Right. So this should be a good substitute, is what they say.
Yes, we looked, and yes, we actually went to several websites, several respected bourbon reviewers, bartenders, and such like that, and repeatedly, this and a couple other brands were listed as their secret, their go-to brand that is inexpensive but just as good as the other stuff. And we're going to put that stuff to the test. Now, go ahead and grab just any 2. Now, what we did on this one was let me move this off the way. Take these little plastic tasters, and we put colored star stickers on the bottom.
Right.
And the reason we did that is because we don't want to bias to go and say, well, Old Charter's last. We want to go and we wanted to have an unbiased review. And so we found that with these colored stickers, we cannot see what the color is through our stage lights here.
Right.
We can just sit there and see that it's a star.
Yeah, it looks like a white star is what it looks like to us.
Exactly.
So we can't tell if it's what color the star is.
Now that means we can't watch each other as we drink.
Right, and I actually don't know which color corresponds to which bourbon.
Yes, he does not know which corresponds to each bourbon. I have them here in my hand, written down. He was not here during the pouring or anything. I'm letting him do the selection, so I don't know the order. So we're just going to taste them, and we're going to rank them, and then we're going to see where the chips may fall. So, Dan, go ahead, take your first taste, take a little smell. Now, let's go over real quick a primer on how to taste whiskey. So, liquors and higher proof drinks are enemies of oxygen. You don't drink them the same way you drink a beer. With a beer, you drink it, you move it around, you taste it in your mouth, and then you swallow it. Bourbon's different, and the reason is because it has such a higher proof of alcohol. So go ahead and take a sip, Dan, but don't let any air into your mouth. Just go and take a small sip, very small, as small as you can, and move it around your mouth. You know, some people call this the Kentucky Chew, and sit there and get it without getting any air in your mouth, and then swallow it down. And it'll give you all the flavors of it. The reason you don't want to get any air in it is because alcohol vaporizes very easily. And so what happens is when you get air in there, the pressure from the alcohol vaporizes, and since half of your taste is in smell, all you get is alcohol and wood, because those are the only 2 things that will vaporize easily and you can taste in your mouth. Whereas the more subtle caramel, vanilla, and toffee notes are all on the tongue, because they're so much lower in volume, and they don't go and aromatize as easily as the alcohol and wood vapors do. So go ahead and tell us what you think about it.
I want you to taste it first before I tell you, because I want you to decide what you think this is before I say what I think it is.
Okay, go ahead and I just smell it. Go ahead and tell us about the aroma, because I smell a strong caramel note in this aroma.
Yeah, there's a strong caramel note. I think it also smells very. I get a lot of alcohol smell as well, though. I can almost smell the oak in there. So the taste, right? So the taste that I taste is I think that there is very strong oak. I think that I can taste a lot of alcohol. There's a caramel.
Ton of alcohol,
yeah.
which I know you would think, oh, well, of course, it's 80 proof, 80 proof liquor. But we've had 80 proof liquor before, and we've tasted it, and you don't get that strong of an alcohol flavor.
You don't have to.
Yeah, you don't get the super strong alcohol flavor when you taste it properly. And I tasted this properly, and I still got a really strong alcohol flavor too.
All right,
but I did get a strong vanilla note in there too.
Yeah,
it was kind of one note. There wasn't any real toffee or any caramel, even though it smells caramelly, but very strong vanilla. I don't know if you noticed that or not. I mean, you can take another taste. Yeah. Go ahead, take another taste. This is wonderful video right here. I know, watching us drink this and listen to him slurp.
Yeah, that was a mistake. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you taste it without getting
a lot of vanilla. All right, I'm gonna put it right there. I think I know what that is. Maybe.
Well, truthfully, I know a lot about bourbon, but there's not a huge amount I've sampled recently. I drank a lot back in the day, but that was before I really knew how to taste bourbon. Okay. So to me, I'm going to take a sip of this without going and doing it properly. I'm going to actually just take what you would, just take a normal, well, I can't say a normal drink because you should always taste a bourbon properly, but I'm going to sit there and just take a drink with air and everything because that's what I used to do. Didn't tell me much. Imagine that.
Okay. Well, we'll rank these. Okay.
Yeah. Tell me what you think afterwards.
Yeah, that's a good.
So I'm going to put this right here, and
I'll go grab the other two.
I'm not going to repeat my old joke. You know what that joke is, don't you?
What's that?
That this is ranked first now.
Yes.
All right. I swear that'll be the last video you see this in. Maybe. I might recycle it in a couple times.
All right.
All right.
Number two. And what we found too is that these different ones that we had, the Jack. And it's interesting to throw whiskey in there, right? Because we have the bourbons, and then throwing a whiskey in there that's supposed to be different, and I think it's pretty interesting.
The most interesting thing is that visually you can't tell.
So that's what I was going to say. The color,
or if you can't tell, you know what? This one might be a shade. The first one we tried might be a shade darker, but truthfully, it's very difficult.
Yeah, it's very difficult to tell just from the color. They're all almost the exact same color when you get down to this. Just a small amount.
Yeah.
All right.
So go ahead and take a taste. Let me know what's going on. Now, I know some whiskey distillers.
Smells different, by the way.
Okay. I know some whiskey distillers add caramel coloring to it. Depending on the exact process and the way you label your bourbon, sometimes I say bourbon, whiskey, sometimes you are allowed to add caramel color. I know it's actually very popular in Scotch. And understand, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Truthfully, it's mostly just for marketing purposes. There's a very large Scotch distiller that goes and adds caramel coloring for their Scotches that they sell in America. You got your taste down?
I've got my taste down.
Okay, so tell me what you think about the smell on this.
Okay. Definitely less alcohol smell, I think.
Yes, but less caramel too.
Yes.
I really only smell alcohol, maybe a little bit of oak. That's it. So
my first taste on this was very sweet. Very sweet. And after tasting that, I think it changed my taste a little bit, but I didn't taste as much of the oak. It seemed like a very sweet taste, either vanilla, I would say.
Now, hold on. This is gonna sound really weird to people at home. Okay? But understand that when I use this term, I'm not using it in a derogatory way. I actually get a bit of gasoline on this, or maybe turpentine or some such. Go ahead.
Maybe.
I mean, take a taste.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, but I don't even think about that because I like Irish whiskey.
Yeah, but that's because you have no taste buds.
Yeah. And so I don't even think about that. I taste that, and it's like it's just a flavor. It's a flavor I enjoy.
Yeah. I get a lot of oak on this.
Tons of oak, yeah. But I think it's less oaky than the last one.
It is, and I get a lot of leather. Like
I could taste some leather, yeah.
that's really the dominant flavor I get. I'm not getting any vanilla or anything like that.
Okay, my first drink, I think. Just
Don't let me know since I know the colors, but grab yours that you just had, and don't let me see it. Look at the
new
bottom.
one, the second one or the first one?
The first one. I mean, the second one. The one,
that I just had.
Yeah, check the color and check mine. Make sure they match.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just tasting this completely differently than you.
Okay.
And which, you know what? And that's one thing. Guys, taste, if you're going to be doing tastings, taste with other people. And the reason is because they're going to taste differently than you are. And sometimes they'll say something and you're like, oh, you know what? I didn't notice it at first, but now that you say that, it's there.
Yeah.
You know, like right just now, you didn't say leather anywhere.
Right.
But
But
to me,
it
that's the
definitely
dominant
was
flavor.
there, though. It definitely was there. It kind of overlays everything.
I get a little bit of caramel in the background. Don't really get any of the vanilla though. That one was, the first one was very strong in vanilla. This one is more leathery. I don't know which one I like better, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
I'm gonna do once again. I'm gonna take my taste of whiskey improperly.
Or bourbon.
No, bourbon is a type of whiskey.
That is true.
Much less alcohol.
Yes.
Am I starting to slur a little bit?
No.
Okay.
I don't think.
I think I might be. I might have had a little bit of bourbon before we started this tasting. But had to even them out somehow. So
okay.
So it's kind of interesting. I think overall I'm going to place this one first. I think I like that one better. And the reason is because when I drink it, if I drink it without going and drinking it properly, it's not horrible.
Okay.
And when I drink it properly, the leather taste it's not unpleasant. And I find it interesting.
But I see the leather as sort of like, it's not a background flavor, but it kind of just overlays there. It's kind of almost in the background to me, because it's just, it's like when you're listening to music and there's, like there's a song that I hear, like there's a certain song that I've been trying to learn the harmonica part of it, and it's got a mandolin in it, and it's like over the entire song they're playing this mandolin, but when you listen to the song, it's there and you don't think about it. It's just there. It kind of overlays everything.
The other reason I'm going to rank it first, though, I still like the first one, though. Don't get me wrong. I still like the first one, whatever it is. The reason I'm going to rank this higher is because it's a little sweeter. And I like that.
I liked that sweetness when I first.
So are you ranking it? You ranking it higher too?
Yeah, I've already put it as my first.
Okay, so it's my first two. We're going in reverse order again.
Yeah,
That's fine.
usually
All right, go ahead and grab the last one.
Yeah.
So, it's really quite interesting. The sour mash whiskeys from Jack Daniel's and various Tennessee distilleries are only different in how they prepare their wash, which is what they call their mash, which after they've gotten their grains soaked in water and everything like that. It's only different in how they prepare that before they just start fermenting it and distilling it. That's really the only difference between the sour mash and bourbon. Everything else, the charred oak barrels and everything, aging and everything, that's all the same, pretty much. From what I understand. Now, I'm going to have some Tennessee fans going and emailing me, sitting there, oh no, there's this difference and that difference. But from what I understand, that's the only real difference. So, Dan, go ahead, take a smell,
Once
take a
again,
taste.
very similar color to the other ones. You can't tell the difference.
It's about, I think if I had to rank them by color, I would say the one we just had was the lightest. This one is medium, and the first one we had was the darkest. But truthfully, if I look away and look back, it'll probably change.
Okay.
So, you already smelled it?
I smelled it.
Okay, take
very
a taste.
interesting. Very interesting.
Very interesting smell. Let me go ahead and hit up this on my nose. Sorry guys, I had a little bit of bourbon, like I said before earlier. So, let me know. All right, so tell me about the nose on this.
To me,
wow, that is sweet smelling.
Yeah, it's sweet smelling. It actually has an apple smell to me.
Yes, it does. That's a great description. And you know what? perfect example. I didn't notice it. The first thing I noticed was the sweetness. But as soon as you said apple, I smelled it again, and yes, and it's like a fresh cut gala apple.
Yes.
It's really pleasant. Actually.
Yeah, it is a very nice smell. Very nice smell.
This is the best smelling of the three by far.
But yes, I agree.
Now the taste, though, that is what we're really looking at here.
And I think I can taste a lot of oak in this.
You want to take another taste real quick before I taste my taste? Go ahead. Take another taste and start giving me descriptions here. I need to know.
Well, first of all, a lot of alcohol.
Like even when you're tasting it correctly?
Yeah.
Okay.
And oak. And not much else. It's a little sweet. I mean, but I taste those predominantly, oak and alcohol.
You took too big of a swig. Take a smaller swig.
Okay.
Because I get caramel and toffee, a little bit of vanilla. Just barely get any in your mouth.
I did. And I can taste.
And that's another important thing about tasting whiskey.
Yeah, I can taste the caramel. I can taste
Once
the caramel.
you have to take a very small amount. It's very difficult to do it sometimes. But just take a very small amount. In I get some more of that leather taste. You know what, Dan? I'm gonna go back and taste this because that's important. Do you already go back and taste it?
No.
Taste the one you just put in second, and taste the one you got in first, and see which one you like better. Guys, your jeez, Dan. Oh man. We're supposed to be professionals here.
That's good stuff.
Smooth. barely tastes like he's drowning.
Oh. Okay, let me try this.
Is there such a thing as liquor lung?
It didn't go all the way in though, so it's not as bad as like I'm not gonna sit here and cough the whole rest of the time. But boy, that was something else.
What I was trying to say is that it's very important whenever you're doing comparative tastings like this to go back and taste something previously, because you go and deaden your tongue to certain tastes, and so by doing comparative taste you can sit there and say, okay, I gotta go and move this back and forth and decide. So go ahead and try that. I'm gonna do the same thing. So this is the one we just actually, you know what, I'm gonna go back and taste the one we did just before, because that's what we did the first time to rank them first and second.
I need a little baby sip of this.
Sweet, leather.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with my.
Here with your order.
Yeah.
That's close, but you know what? I'm gonna agree with you. And the only reason is because what we rank first has a little more sugar on the palate.
I agree.
It's a little sweeter. That's the only difference. They're actually almost exactly the same taste
Very
profile.
similar. Very similar. But I think this one also has more of a alcohol type taste. And so maybe, all right? I think maybe our taste buds have gotten a little acclimated to it.
I forgot to take my normal sip.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, my sip with air, I should say. It's not, it's the same as the first one. Okay. It's not the first one, but the one I had in first place.
So I'll tell you what I think.
All right.
I'm going to guess what these are.
Okay.
I think this is Four Roses.
You think first place is Four Roses? Okay.
I think this is the Old Charter. 8.
Okay.
Okay. And I think this is the Jack Daniels.
All right, Dan. So tell me, what is your third place?
My
Pick
third
it up.
place.
Take a look. It is green in color,
Is it green?
which
yes, green.
is Jack Daniels. We both agreed Jack Daniels is among these the one that we personally like the least. We got to start saying that because
we're going to be in this personal preference, and it's not, it tasted. It was more intense.
You know what? Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
It had a very strong vanilla note, which in some ways is kind of nice, but it wasn't as interesting. It was very one note. I thought
it was just too powerful in some of the things. Like if you're going to be sipping something, I thought it was too powerful in the alcohol flavor and in the oak flavor to just comfortably sip.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let me know what's second place now. Pick it up. Take a look. Second place is
Red.
Red. Old Charter.
Yep.
You called it. which means that first place, our best tasting whiskey among these three, is Four Roses Yellow Label.
But the difference between these was actually pretty subtle.
Yes, it was very small. And the other thing is, the question wasn't which of these was the best. The question is, could Old Charter hold its own against higher grade whiskeys? And I think that's a definitive yes.
I think so too. And I will admit that I have had the Old Charter in a bourbon and Coke to see how it was.
Ah, okay.
And it was very good. Very good. Now, let me say, I've had some budget. I don't know if it was a whiskey or bourbon. I can't remember. I believe it was a bourbon. I'm almost 100% sure it was a bourbon. I've had a budget bourbon and Coke before, and it was disgusting. So there are budget bourbons that I would not drink with a bourbon and Coke. It does make a difference. And it's not that, and let me say, it's not that, oh, I'm a snob and this tasted slightly different than what I'm used to or everything. It was gross. So, you know,
it's a good thing we're not naming what label that was.
Well, you know, and I can't even remember what it was, but I wouldn't name it, I guess. I don't know, maybe I would to let people know, but yeah, but it could make a difference, you know.
So what I'm going to say is that, guys, if you want to go and grab something just for your well, you don't want a high-end bourbon, just something to serve out, Old Charter number 8.
Oh yeah,
it definitely gets the Southern Drink Review seal of approval.
Agreed.
I mean, it's just, for the price point especially.
Yeah, ridiculously cheap.
It is ridiculously cheap.
And for something as good as it is.
Yes, and we're going to be trying some other budget bourbons and budget whiskeys in the same vein. We're going to sit there and we're going to set up a test like this, and we're going to rank them, and we'll probably throw Old Charter in there just to see if there's something better. And we'll let you guys know. So keep an eye out for that in the future. As for this test, I definitely say Old Charter passed it with flying colors.
I agree.
So, here's a question. Since this is an Old Charter taste test, Dan, what are you going to rank it out of 5 stars?
Well, I think it's a little difficult just because we've had the other whiskeys. It does change your palate a little bit. But I would say with me having it had in a Coke before, and I have tasted it a little bit before once we got the bottle because I was just curious, of course. I would say that as far as a bourbon goes, I'd give it 3.5. 3.5 maybe.
I'm going to go straight for 3 stars. And the reason is because Four Roses, I've had some excellent bourbons.
Yeah,
I've had some better bourbons than Four Roses by a good bit. So I'm going to say that Four Roses is slightly higher. So I'm going to say this is, but it's not way higher. So I'm going to say Old Charter is definitely a solid 3 stars.
Okay.
Good for your well. Good for if you want something to just have on hand for unexpected company to come by, and they're not going to sit there and throw it in your face.
Right. And they probably won't know the difference. The only difference that I found in it is that it has a slightly more alcohol taste that you probably wouldn't notice in a mixed drink especially.
If you sat there, you know what, let me tell you what. If you poured out that Four Roses and you filled it up with Old Charter and then you handed it to someone and said, this is a Four Roses, they wouldn't know the difference.
Possibly.
Unless they really drank a lot of Four Roses. I mean, because you have to say, the difference is very minimal.
It's subtle.
It's there. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Four Roses is a little bit better.
It's subtle in a taste test like this, but I think when you're just drinking it on its own, I think it's a little bit more pronounced. So, you know, I think that there's a difference, but I don't think it's a huge difference.
All right, Dan. Well,
we'll agree to disagree on that.
Here's what we'll do.
Yeah.
When the camera's off, after our palates have recovered, we'll get rid of the Jack Daniels and just taste test those two. And,
okay.
All right. And we'll see how big see if the difference increases.
Okay. And we encourage you to do the same.
Yes, of course. We always encourage you guys. Guys, we always encourage you when you see what we are going to be drinking ahead of time. Go out, buy it, drink it with us. Let us know what you taste. Comment below. Say, you know what, guys? You guys are crazy. I'm picking up cinnamon. You know? Yeah. Or whatever you're tasting. Right. Let us know in the comments below. So, you got any final thoughts, Dan?
Yes. None of these tasted like cinnamon.
That's correct.
Okay.
So, Old Charter number 8, 3 stars, Southern Drink Review. I'm Derek.
I'm Dan.
Please always remember to drink responsibly. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates and previews of what we is about.
What we is about. Please.
what we are going to do in the coming up week. And if you got any questions, please go leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I'm Derek.
I'm Dan.
Have a good night.
Thanks.